Hey everybody. Oh my gosh. I was gonna move mom's dolls, which you can see here. Um, and I forgot. So I should call this show Sunday Night with the Creepy Dolls. I apologize for the creepy dolls. If you're new here, I live with my mom, helping take care of her, just moved in, and mom has dolls all over the house. So here, let me also, you may or may not know that I still working on figuring this live thing out. So I don't really go live with it on social media, but I do share it in our online support group with homeless people. Because one thing I have learned here that's kind of mind blowing is that there's a lot of you that join this chat that are homeless. And that's sad, but in a way, I'm glad you're here because nothing better to talk about homelessness than with homeless people. And in fact, I'm ranting early. Watch out. One of the things that is wrong with the homeless services sector is that they don't listen to homeless people. One of the things I thought was very interesting, I put up Reggie's video, and Reggie somehow found it and started responding to comments. Another one is Brenda in New York City. You can look, she's responding to comments. Anyways, so how is everybody doing tonight? Happy Sunday. Or some of you might even be Monday already if you're in Europe. Hey, Harry. Hey, Eddie. Wow, Eddie, you jumped on this quick. I'm going to say Sita from Brazil. Hey, how are you? Hi, Lynn. Hey, Brandon, I will be in Hamilton, Ontario. Oh my gosh, it's got kind of like this freaky loop thing going with the glasses. I will be in Hamilton in early November. Hi, Tressa. Janie, hopefully. Danielle. White boy, Tony, Duty, Ricky, I am doing good. Addie is officially out of the crisis center. So that is good. Now, Addie, I don't share with what's going on. I let people share their own thing. Psycho Funk. What inspires me? Really good question, because it's interesting. If you just do charity work, and I'm not saying charity is bad, people need food, people need clothes. Um, it's you get this warm, fuzzy feeling. But when you're working on advocacy, education, getting people into housing, when you're committed to ending homelessness, not just filling needs, it's often nasty, dirty, awful, horrible work. Your heart's on the ground constantly. What keeps me going, and I haven't talked about this in a while, so I think this is so thank you for the question. What keeps me going is, and I'm not spooky, but I get this impression that, if I don't do it, who? So it's interesting because some people, there's other homeless advocates that, for whatever reason, jealousy, or they don't like what I'm doing, who knows, but they could do it. They could do, anybody, any of you could do what I do. You just have to commit to like working. I work every day. I haven't had a day off, I think since before June, and I work nonstop. Uh, I was thinking about it today because somebody was ranting about healthcare and about how people in the homeless sector are working to help people with healthcare. Now, I can make a decision and tomorrow go get a job that has healthcare, but to do that, I'd end up giving up invisible people. So I'm here, and healthcare is an issue. Um, but I think everybody that's working, and it's not just, homeless services. I'm also now caregiver for my mom, which has really opened my eyes. I think anybody that's doing something to help other people, you've got to work really hard at inspiration. You have to find inspiration in the little things. You have to really, there's a woman named Laviva Prim. She was one of the, now I had done ministry, homeless ministry, where we went out and, cooked hot dogs and gave clothes and sang songs and tried to get everybody back to church on Sunday. I did that for many years. And I was actually homeless myself for a long time. But it wasn't until Laviva took me outreach in a van where, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, depending on the time of year, on whether winter shelters are running, we're working to get homeless people help. And what Laviva told me is very smart, because it stuck with me today, is that you have to remember success stories and replay them in your head, replay the tape, because there's so many failures. There's so many times that, and it's not homeless people, it's the bureaucracy, because you find a homeless person and they want help, but there's no help for them. And it's maddening. It's maddening for frontline workers. So you have to latch on to that time when you really influence change. And I will end this and go back to saying hello to everybody. And is, when I really believe in visible people. I really believe in giving a platform and a voice to homeless people. In the homeless services sector, I mean, just now at conferences, they're having, sessions on how to engage with people with lived experience. I mean, you're a homeless services and you're now just learning how to deal with homeless people. Come on. It just shows you how, oh gosh, the table's shaking here. It just shows you how the industry, and it is an industry, doesn't, really consider homeless people equals. And that's a problem. So I believe in the work. Well, let me go on. And I see somebody here doesn't, let's see. Danielle, thank you so much for the love. Oh my gosh. As many of you know, I don't do, uh-oh. Are you guys there? Oh, okay. My chat froze for a second. I thought that I would have to restart. So I do this chat to talk to you guys. I don't do it to raise money. If you guys donate, thank you. But this is really just to listen to you guys. By the way, I got a question. So I don't know what to title this. I seem to be doing that. We're getting closer to a weekly show. Sunday nights seem to be the one night that I can commit to the most. and I title it "Let's Talk About Homelessness or Anything Else," and that's kind of boring. What should we title this? And should I do episode 1, episode 2? What do you guys think? How should I build out the show? If you're new here, I actually for a while was getting guests from. Addie was a guest when she was homeless. Manda was a guest when she was homeless. Charlie was a guest. They called in on their phone. Video, Skyped in on their phone. I had Kevin, who's chief CEO of homeless healthcare. I had guests, but you guys just wanted to chat. You guys just wanted to, hang out. So that's where we've been for like the last couple of months. But as we're growing into this, and a new Invisible People's coming. It's going to launch in November. I'm really excited about it. Invisible People with Creepy Dolls. Well, as soon as I finish, I'm trying to convert the basement into a little studio. We're going to be done with the creepy dolls. Homeless rescue. Interesting. Hey, Marcel. Hopefully you're going to have a good evening at work. You said you're on your break, so I understand you're probably working. My shirt says, do you guys see it or is it mirrored? The National Coalition of Homelessness. So this week I was honored. I was in DC. They flew me in. Most of my travel is paid for by third parties. They flew me into DC. I was honored. They had us. I was somehow they chose me as being one of the 50 most powerful and influential nonprofit executives in the country. And there's this big gala and everything. But I had lunch with Megan, who's the executive director of the nonprofit National Coalition for the Homeless. And it's a great organization. And they gave me swag, and I'm sporting the swag today. Yeah, Ellie, I talked to mom about it today. She said finally I could move them, and I forgot to move them. I mean, there is dolls all over the house. So that's one of the reasons I don't set this video to public. Is it's got creepy dolls. Hey Harry, I bet Home Depot does. Hey Bria, I do. So Invisible People, there's not enough funding to come in to even pay for me. So I work as a marketing consultant. I try to limit that because if I take on too many clients, right now I only have one client, and if I take on too many clients, then Invisible People goes on the back burner. In fact, right now I moved in with my mom to help take care of her. I thought I would have more time. Caregiving, oh my gosh, it takes up a lot of time. So, hey Joey, good evening to you too. Ellie, I'm glad you like the shirt. Hey, Michael, each Sunday episode will be on a topic on how to help. Now, so that's what I was doing. I was doing interviews. You would have the uh, picture of how am I going to do this? You'd have like on a news, you'd see the other person picture in picture like you would on FaceTime on your phone. And we would, talk about how to help in different things. But you guys just like kind of ignored whatever topic I was doing, and you guys just went off on the chat room to whatever other conversation. So, I mean, it's a good idea. Ooh, save the dolls. Neo likes the dolls. Hey, Joy, thanks for asking. She's in the other room. I got her legs propped up. Today was a good day. We had some rough moments early on, but thanks for asking. Yeah, Cran, both these dolls are a little creepy. Holly, thank you so much. Glenn, are you in St. Louis? Is that there's like an ST space L, so STL to me is St. Louis. Hey, Free Circle, I'm doing good. How are you? So, Mr. Dextros, um, oh, you're STL because somebody else is STL. Never mind. I'm slow, but I'm worth waiting for. So, what kind of camera? I'm live streaming with the Logitech. I forget the number, but it's the cheap one you can get off Best Buy or Amazon. I use when I'm interviewing people a GH4, a Panasonic GH4. Couple of reasons is that it's cheaper than the Canons. It's smaller. I would like to upgrade to a GH5, but I don't have the money, and the GH5 has some focus problems from what I read and people say. So when I'm doing the vlogs, I have a Sony VX. I forget what number. It's not the newest one. I mean, they're so expensive. So it's a 4 or 5. I think the newest one is a 6 that I carry with me, like when I went into the tent city in Ithaca and out with the Koreatown outreach. And because it doesn't have an external mic, it's, I mean, I've got to get really close to people. And then when everybody's like complaining that I'm too close, but if I'm not close, they're not in the frame, or then the audio doesn't pick it up. So. Thanks, Bill. Thank you so much. Jason, I'm glad you're no longer living in your car. Hi, Kim. I am doing good. I thought I would take a moment and chat with everybody this Sunday night. You know, my mom now sleeps in the room behind me, and there is I could do a fireside chat. Back when I worked in the TV industry, we used to sell the VHS tapes of like the fire logs, so like you could play on your TV a fire. So we could do the Sunday night fireside chat. Hey, Radical wants to know. Hopefully, I said that right. That's a neat spelling about when I was homeless. What can I share about homelessness that I don't normally or haven't already shared? So there's if you Google, it's also on Huffington, but it's also on Medium. Go to medium.com and typed in my first night homeless. It's also on Huffington Post. I wrote about my first night homeless. And if you haven't read that, I'll give you the audio version now. How about that? So I was kicked out of the homeless shelter or the rehab in Koreatown. And all of a sudden I'm homeless, and I've never been homeless before. So I didn't know what to do. Now, Koreatown is about 11 miles from North Hollywood, and I had lived up in North Hollywood before. That's where my last house was. When I went into the rehab, I left the house, but the apartment, I didn't own it. I was renting an apartment. So all of a sudden, I'm homeless on Olympic Boulevard in Koreatown. So I walk, it took all day. I mean, blisters on my feet. I walk all the way to North Hollywood. And I don't, there's no how to do homeless. So I just assume I got to find a park to sleep in. So I would walk to a park, or I walk to a park, and there would be gangbangers, or I'd walk to another park and it just was, unsafe. And I kept on doing that until about 3 a.m. And if you know North Hollywood, right off Victory and Lancashire, there's like a Sears and a mall, and behind there, there's some grass. And it's about 3 a.m. and I felt safe enough to lay down, and I decided, well, this is going to be the spot. I laid down and shut my eyes, and about 15 minutes later, the sprinklers went off. I can laugh about that now. When it happened, it was extremely depressing. And sleep deprivation sleep deprivation is very serious for people who are out on the streets, because oh my gosh, you sleep. That's something that, here, I have 23 years sober, and it's 23 years since I've been on the streets, but I had a good night's sleep this week once, but otherwise I don't sleep very well. But there's a homeless story for you. How do you decide? So, Starry, great question. So, I have a video how to give out socks. I should do that more. Some outreach teams are actually using that to train staff. So, safety first. I will look at an area. Either I know it, or I'll look at a map, or I just get a feel when I'm pulling in or when I'm walking around that this is safe or this isn't. Groups of homeless people, large groups of homeless people, can be dangerous. And I don't mean it like gosh, that sounded bad. Large groups of people can be dangerous. I don't want to mean large groups of homeless people can be dangerous, but usually in those areas, there's, when you're dealing with drugs and mental illness, the normal rules don't apply. So I kind of go to areas where there'll be pockets of people that are by themselves. And why that's important is we're humans. And when you're around your friends, you're not going to talk, the real deal. You're going to front a little bit. So I try to find areas where homeless people are not so much grouped together. And then I ask everybody. I try not to do that edit point. So one of my first interviews, his name was Mark. He wasn't wearing a shirt, and he's in Santa Monica. Turned out he was a banker, but I just thought he was crazy. And he didn't have a shirt, and he was walking around this grassy area. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is crazy. But there's something about it that I just felt I should ask him, but it took me a while to get up the nerve. And the reason that he wasn't wearing a shirt is it rained the night before, and he was drying out all his clothes. And he was a banker, and he was somebody very interesting to talk to, and I almost didn't ask him. The other thing is, it's a choice. So, and this isn't a homeless thing. If you are, I could go into the nicest restaurant in any town, and half the people would run from me and half the people would run to me. Oh, my hair's a mess, I can't go on camera. And the other, I want to be on TV. And that's just a human thing. So I respect everybody. I talk to everybody. I sit and talk to everybody. If somebody is too intoxicated, or there's severe mental illness, I won't ask them. And the reason is, and there might be some legal, I don't know if you know this, but if you're outside, you're fair game. A photographer, a videographer can take your picture and your image. It's just, that's the law. And, but to me, I won't do it without somebody's permission. So the reason that I don't do anybody, or I don't ask anybody that is severely intoxicated or that has extreme mental illness is respect. I don't want to be on YouTube drunk. I'm not going to ask somebody else to be on YouTube drunk. And the core foundation of all of my work is the relationship, and that nobody gets hurt. So often NBC, CBS, MSNBC, media, photographers, college kids going out with cameras, YouTubers are now in Skid Row. There's people going down trying to punk homeless people to make YouTube videos to get hits. So there's a lot of times that relationship with the homeless person is kind of funky. And I really believe that it's more important to have this relationship than to get their story, which is, I don't know if you know this, I'm an old school broadcaster. I used to, make my living producing television. I was all about the story. It was the story. I mean, nothing else matters. I want and got the story, because that's what you do. That's what you get paid for. That's what your clients want. That's what your bosses want. And when I invisible people, it's more about the relationships. I will walk away without an interview, totally fine with that, because of the relationship. And in fact, that is why homeless services around in several different countries open their doors to me, because they know I respect homeless people and I respect their privacy. And then it's, if somebody wants to talk, then I fire up the camera, if it's safe, and we start chatting. But that is, the decision is really safety first. I should do a video on this. Safety first, then respecting the relationship, and making sure that, nobody's going to get hurt, and that, it's more about the person. And that's why I don't get releases. So it's funny. Some people over the years have gotten on me because I don't get releases. Releases protect me. They don't protect the homeless person. What a model release says, it's like a prenup agreement. It says, okay, I've taken your image, I've taken your story, now I can go do anything with it, and you can't do anything about it. Well, that's wrong to me. I want homeless people, when when I walk away, I want them to have a good experience when they see their video on YouTube. And I'm blown away now how many people are, like I said, Brenda from New York, Reggie. I don't know if you remember the girl on Hollywood Boulevard, Amber. I thought Amber, because Amber has teeth problems. And people are, how YouTubers can be. And I thought Amber, was going to React differently that she did. She went and started a YouTube channel to talk to the people that were leaving her nasty comments. How cool is that? But it's called respect, and it's not just homeless people. I try to respect you guys. I try to respect my mom. I try to respect the people around me, the people I meet. You just respect people. So hopefully that answered your question. And thank you. That's a great question. Oh, Salakin. Um, I might be in Portland in March. I'm not sure yet. Mm, thumbs up, man. Ooh, hopefully you're listening to this. He wrote, homeless people can't hold a job because of laziness in doing the work. Okay, I'm not going to swear, but I almost did. Homeless people are not lazy. There's no days off. There's no holiday pay. You don't get much sleep. You're up early in the morning. You have to fight for survival every day. There's no weekends. There's no holidays. There's no vacation. There's no sick leave. The idea that homeless people are lazy, I'm going to swear, it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. Homeless people work hard every single day just to get water, just to go to the bathroom, just to get food. Most normal people couldn't handle what a homeless person has to do every day just to survive. So, piggy, pig, pig. Um, there's a video I did in Saskatoon, Canada. I think her name was Rita. She was in the hospital. She's homeless. She's dying of AIDS. But she talked about how she would get arrested to have food and place. Now, is it better? Um, I've been arrested a few times, uh, and I've been homeless, and I think I'd rather be in a park than out on the streets. What I will say is, has any of you seen the movie District 9, where they had these aliens and they made these refugee camps? I see that happening with homeless people. I see in the future. I've seen it a little bit. Haven for Hope in San Antonio, Texas. It's right next to the jail. The only difference is Haven for Hope has windows. Um, but piggy, pig, pig. Uh, I So a lot of people that have been incarcerated for any amount of time, they come out and the recidivism is so high because they come back out into society and it's so hard. It's so hard to get a job. So then they go and do a crime so they can go back in. They get used to it, learned helplessness. Is that better? I don't think so. I don't think so. And is it better for us? Piggy, pig, pig. I can't believe I keep saying that. Um, the taxpayers pay for it. Jail here in New York State is like $168,000 a year. So you could go house somebody, pay for an apartment for 20, 30,000. So. Yeah, Lady T. Hi, Lady T. I thought District 9 was a great movie, but it was a little eerie because I see that happening with homeless people in LT, FEMA camps. I interviewed a woman in Washington, D.C. a year ago who she said she was in FEMA camps in North Carolina, South Carolina. And, I didn't believe her. And I went and I researched, and there were FEMA camps in the cities that she talked about. Lindor 12. Hopefully, you are not homeless while you're asking that. How do you get out of homelessness? It's a good question because there's no easy answer, and that is the question that governments and nonprofits in the homeless sector should be asking. How does somebody get out of homelessness? The one universal, consistent thing is when, I've been everywhere from Tampa to Anchorage. And the amount of times a homeless person has tried to get out of homelessness is huge. I mean, there's a she's no longer homeless, but there's a single mom who, when she joined our Facebook group, was homeless from a domestic violence situation. She tried to get help 50 times, and was turned away. She ended up getting a job as a caregiver and then working her way out. But if you are homeless, the only advice that I can give you is that you can't give up. You have to keep going. You're going to hit a lot of no's. Don't listen to those no's. So like if somebody says, "Oh, we're going to call you in 2 weeks," call them back in 1 week. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. This is your life. This is scream about it. Be that person that's always on it, always humping, because homeless services is going to drop the ball. And then, in fact, so I don't know. I've gotten a lot of heat for this. How many of you saw Adela's video? So one thing about Invisible People is we don't just show the nice, fluffy, sweet and pretty homelessness, right? So Adela, there was a gentleman on our support group that had lost his job, lost his apartment, and Adela made this video for him. And, she's from the streets. So she's cussing and she's talking like street people do, if any of you have any experience with the inner city, the way Adela's talking is normal. It really is just normal. That's, how a lot of street people talk. And I lost subscribers. I lost a lot of subscribers when I posted it. And that kind of bothers me. I mean, I used to lose subscribers all the time because I'd post videos and the people swear and, see, the thing is, Invisible People is raw, unedited. So you're going to get stories that aren't polished and pretty like most nonprofits. They're real, they're authentic. But Adela, she's encouraging this other homeless man, but it could be you or anybody else in her own way. And she's homeless. She's a single mom. And what she says is basically keep going. Whether you fall down, whether you do drugs, whether you're going to be, getting the referral, you got to keep going. So I was kind of nervous when I put it up. I got some back flack from it. And my subscriber count for the first time in a long time started going negative. Obviously, and some people had issues with it. It's like uh, um, a pastor once said, eat the chicken and spit out the bones. So if you really listen to Adele's story and what she's saying, it's so amazing and it's so gorgeous. And to me, the street lingo makes it like a poetry slam. It's art almost. It's real deal. If you were offended by Adela's video, I'm sorry. I really am. I don't mean to offend anybody, but at our core, Invisible People is going to put up some content that's probably going to offend somebody. And right in our website, there is a disclaimer that some content may be offensive. And I hope you get mad enough to do something to help end homelessness, right? I mean, people are upset that this girl is swearing more than she's homeless. She's a homeless single mom trying to encourage somebody, and people are upset that she's saying the F-bomb. I mean, and upset enough to slam me for posting it. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's wonderful. Um, Again, you all have such wonderful names. Please forgive me if I misspell it. Vernice, Chilliwack, BC. I don't know exactly where that is. I've been to Vancouver, obviously, a couple of times. Victoria. I would love, 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 love to spend more time in BC. Hey, Ben, thank you very much for the recommendation. I haven't been to, or the referral, I haven't been to Chicago in a while. I need to. Hey, Jacob, I am sorry you're going to be homeless. Uh, don't even think about jail. Um, I don't know your situation, but there is right now, they call it deferment, defer you from homelessness. I don't know why they just don't call it prevention, but there's programs now to keep people in their apartment, keep people in their homes. So contact social services now. Don't wait. One of the things that if you're close to being homeless, or listen up, if for luckily, I hope none of you have to ever use this. But the as a case manager, so often people would come to me when they're already getting evicted. If they had came to me when they're first laid off and eviction was a possibility, we could have kept them in their apartment. But then when they're evicted, there's no shelter space, then they have to go outside. So, and I know we're humans. We don't want to, we think we got this, I got this. I lost my job. I got this. I'll get in. I'm not, if you think that you're headed towards homelessness in any way, shape, or form, do not wait to contact social services. Social services is full up. They're slammed. You've got to, start right away contacting them. Okay, hold on. Somehow I lost where I was in the chat. Yeah, Lady T, I know. Adela's. It isn't for everybody. And again, I mean, there's going to be content on invisible people that you're not going to see anywhere else. Don't give up on us. Just, change the channel, watch another video. I mean, here's the bottom line. I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to educate. And homelessness is not this nice, fluffy, cushy thing. It's interesting. I get asked, I had 2 last week, production companies. MTV used to contact me all the time, different production companies wanting to do reality TV and different things. And, some of it is, good money, and I'm turning it down. But most of the time they want happy endings. They're like, okay, we're going to go meet a homeless person and we'll follow them, get them into housing. And I'm like, I wish it was like that, but it's not. Homelessness sucks. Homelessness is hell, you know? Hey, Donna, I used to go, okay. So I used to play in a heavy metal band and we used to play Lancaster all the time. In fact, I remember hitchhiking in Lancaster and sticking my tongue out, my thumb out for a horse and buggy as they're going by. They didn't pick me up, but gosh, I'm in Binghamton, New York now, so I'm not too far. So, guys, I lost a lot of subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Why am I doing this? I don't, little animated tonight. Hey, Vicky, no, the last video I posted was Reggie. I actually posted Reggie quick because people were upset with Adela. It's funny because I haven't posted there. So somebody earlier asked me, how do you pick who to interview? So, the stories happen just organically. So there hasn't been a very controversial story. Like there's one a woman in Detroit that I interviewed, and it's one of my favorite interviews. But she was like Adela, and she was very crude. And but that's that was homelessness. It's real. She was out on the streets, and LT, I like real people, and that's raw. You know what I mean? And that's so Harry, what is inspiration nomad? Sunshine Girl. I did too. I did. To me, it was art. I mean, immediately, and then so when there's something there, I try to. It's just me, and there's lots of comments. But when there's a new video up and it might be controversial, I try to respond the best I can. And One person even said, he goes, I'm only gonna, he goes, don't donate to invisible people, only donate to your local organizations. And I'm like, that's what I tell people. I mean, if you're gotta fight homelessness hyper local. I tell people all the time, support your local homeless services over invisible people because I want to end homelessness. And then he went and deleted his comment. Nate, it is becoming a crime. That I don't know if you saw that federal judges have, ruled against criminalization, but on the West Coast, cities are figuring out ways to circumvent them so they can still arrest homeless people. And here's the thing, I don't. There's no research into this. I wish there was, but the reason criminalization exists is because people don't want to see homelessness, and all you have to do is pass some laws and then you can arrest them. Now, it does nothing to solve homelessness. It increases cost. I mean, if you're supporting criminalization of homelessness, just give your bank account number and your routing number to the government and let them just suck your taxes, because that's what criminalization does. But the reason criminalization exists is because public is telling politicians that they want homeless people out of sight quickly. Um, Nobody gets that. And that's why invisible people's work is so important. There's absolutely, there's, these guys, which are great, and a few others are doing it locally, but nobody uh, at a national level like we are reaching people, the general public, educating them about homelessness. Angelo, thank you. Hey, piggy, pig, pig. He's not. So here's two things, and it's great conversation. Somebody that chooses to be outside and live off the grid is a nomad. They're not homeless, it's a choice. And there's a huge difference. Somebody that is homeless cannot decide the next day to go rent an apartment or go in a hotel. They have no choice. That's homeless. So now there's people who will tell you that they like to be homeless, but if you ask them, say, well, did you first, when you were first homeless, did you try to get out? And they'll say, yeah, yeah. But, the brain is powerful. So what happens is you're hitting this wall of bureaucracy trying to get help, trying to be shelters full, can't get this, can't get food stamps, can't get this, can't. And then finally, you've got to decide, society hates me, I'm a piece of crap, or I want to be homeless. It's called learned helplessness. But nobody wants to be homeless. Nobody chooses to be homeless. They gave up after a time, yes. If it's somebody that's living in, van lifestyle, RV life, and some people even camping, uh, are doing it on purpose, but tomorrow they could decide to go back into an apartment. That's not homelessness. It was a, hey sunshine, it was a don't give up mess. It was a don't give up. It was an urban don't give up message. That's why I love it. I mean, it was a modern, you could go dissect all these motivational speeches from all over, and Adela's was, a motivational speech. It was just one in 2018 from the streets. I love it. Hey, Tony. Yes, I have heard of Hopics. In fact, I communicate with a couple of them, or people that work there. Hey, Joey, what are you asking? The title of the video, it's an awesome video from homeless woman encouraging homeless people. Olivia, thank you. Thank you. I can't give up. It's interesting that over the years, there's been other homeless advocates that have, for whatever reason, spoke up that they had issues with what I do or whatever, and they're not around today. They're part-timers. They only did it for a couple of months, maybe a year, and they're gone. And I used to tell them, I said, when you're done bitching, I'm still going to be here and I'm going to be working. And that's the difference is, this, somebody asked me earlier what inspires. You don't mind the hard work when you know it's your destiny. And, some people, like this week, I was in Washington, D.C. People see that and they see that sexy part of it. They don't see the 10 years of work that went behind the scenes to get there. So, LT, me too. Olivia, thank you very much. Unknown Man, you were absolutely right. I think Frontline did a really good Frontline PBS show, did a really good doc on the opioid crisis. And one of the things that was so interesting that I didn't know, and then it was marketers. It was marketers getting doctors to overprescribe it, and you have housewives who are on Oxy who are now dealing heroin, in suburban Ohio. It's a huge crisis. Hey, Piggy Pig Pig, to answer your question, we are the only education based nonprofit working to end homelessness. So I believe strongly that our inability, the public's inability to relate to homelessness, is the biggest obstacle to ending it. And what I mean by that is you'll see Proposition HHH measure and measure H in Los Angeles is a great example because they raised $4.6 billion, but the public is fighting them, because the public, there's nobody that has gone and educated the public about homelessness. And that's what we do. And there's individual stories of homeless people that have gotten housed because of their videos. There's, people that have, been helped from plane tickets to wheelchairs to beds to furnished apartments to meals to hotel stays to eyeglasses to refrigerators. I can go on and on and on and on and on, but we're not direct services. We are not a charity organization. We're an advocacy and an education based organization. Are you donating money? I gave $150 today to a homeless person who needed to get a laptop out of a pawn shop. He needed 125. I gave him 150. How much came in today? I think we made $19 in super chat. Did I get any money? No. Do I put homeless people before myself? Yes, all the time, every day. If there was more money coming in, could I do more to help end homelessness? You betcha. I wish I didn't have to work other jobs to pay for my own food and rent. And the reason for that is then I could devote 100% of my time to invisible people. I mean, there's 153 people live right now. That's kind of unheard of in the nonprofit sector, especially for topic of homelessness. We have 185,000 subs. We've got 36 million views on YouTube. That's just YouTube. On Twitter, we reach millions of people, educating them about homelessness, and we do it with hardly any money. I mean, I don't get paid. I'm living at my mom. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the creepy dolls. You get the creepy dolls because I don't. Anyways, you get it. So, Invisible People continues to make history, continues to change millions and millions of people's perceptions because of wonderful people like you, because of the people here participating, listening, learning, sharing the content, because of the people that have given on the super chat, the people that are given on Patreon. You guys keep us going. You are invisible people. Thank you. Hopefully that answers your question. Unknown man, that is a great question. What's wrong with being offended? It's interesting because I'm really hard to offend. I do get offended sometimes, but it doesn't make me run. I think being offended is an emotion that should, like I say, I hope you get mad enough to do something. Glenn Gordon, I really we're it. You were, and so if I used to produce a network TV show for Christian Broadcasting. It was Friday nights, prime time. It was a big deal, and it was on homelessness, and it was, pretty, and it was soft, and it was cushy, and homelessness is dirty, and there's swear words and everything. So part of Invisible People is from my frustration of producing this network TV show on homelessness and it being not really homelessness. Hey, love, peace, joy. That is true. Where and I'm going to be back in the UK is when you have the they call it the Cockney accents or the Irish accents. Oh my gosh. And it's the same thing with people in the street. What's interesting, love, peace, joy, I don't think that it's been captioned yet. So I send every video off to a captioning company, and I kind of smiled because whoever has to type that out, and they guarantee like 98% accuracy, they've got to, type in there. It's supposed to be done in a day, and last I knew it wasn't done. I'll have to check. Addie, someday I would love to interview you. I mean, like in person. You know, there is a rumor I will be in Minnesota someday soon. So, Cayce, Case. I'm guessing on the name there. How do we solve homelessness? So, first off, homelessness is not a cause, it's a symptom. So, until we solve affordable housing, violence, racism, prison, foster care, a bunch of other social crises, um, we're never going to solve homelessness, point blank. Right now, the big issue that everybody in this chat room needs to really make a priority: affordable housing. Affordable housing. There's more people that are now working and living in a tent. A tent is now affordable housing in most big cities. If we don't do something about affordable housing, it's gonna. I don't even want to think about it. I So, how do we end homelessness? You got to fix a bunch of shit. You know, it's just messed up. And one of the priorities, affordable housing. Remnant Soldier, the topic is whatever you want it to be. It's an open discussion. If you guys, one of the things that we've been doing is I really been listening on what kind of a show you want. Somebody earlier was saying, topics on how to help people. I can go back to doing weekly topics. What I did when I started is I picked 3 current event news articles and I put them up and put links and figured we'd talk about them. But you guys ended up asking questions in the chat, and we you know started talking about anything. Sarah, you're so right. Some people, you remember the Matrix, the blue pill or the yellow pill, or was it the blue pill and the red pill? Sorry, it's been a long time since I watched. Oh my gosh, I got my geek card taken away on that one. Lady T, she was on. Addie was on one of my first live streams when she was at work, but still living in her car. And I hope to get to the Minneapolis, Minnesota area soon. And Addie, I'm serious. There is a conversation right now about that. So Davis, you're right. And you know what? Somebody else asked about the topic. I hate media paywalls. So I'm past the New York Times because I've opened it too much. The New York Times did a story about poverty. And one of the lines in there was so great, where it talked about, in America, if you see somebody in poverty, if you see a homeless person, we blame them. It's their fault. And in France, when you see somebody in poverty and a homeless person, the French think, you know, that the government, how did the government fail? In America, it's, oh, that person failed. And in France, it's, oh, the government failed, and that's a huge paradigm shift. And we've got to get there. We've got to get there somehow. This country, and this is, I don't know if Piggy Pig Pig is still there, but this is the point of what we're trying to do is, the leading cause of homelessness is lack of affordable housing. And that's not the homeless person's fault. I mean, eviction because of job loss is like the leading cause right now. So Piggy Pig Pig, I was on everything. I was a garbage head. I did heroin, meth, crack, you name it. And I went into a rehab and then a church program. I lived in a church program for 7 years. Nobody should live in a church unless they are a pastor or a reverend for 7 years, but I did. Bernice, I really do. I share out where I'm traveling, and I would love to. I don't know if you know this, but the Canadian government had me go to 24 cities in Canada, and I've been to Yellowknife, I've been to White Horse. I hope to be able to do it again. Sunshine Girl, there was some talk about going to San Francisco. It fell through. I need to. I want to. Hey, CL4H, we have an online support group for people that are homeless or that were formerly homeless. This is the rest of you, please. There's lots of places on the internet. This is just for homeless people. You can find it at wearevisible.com. Love to have you. Wearevisible.com. It's a peer support group for homeless people. If you're not homeless or you're never homeless, please, this isn't the group for you. If you're homeless or have some experience with homelessness, we'd love to have you. You know, Nate, I got slammed this week because I told I was saying how it is a broken system, and what it was from the online support group. Every day somebody's sharing how they're trying to get help and they just keep hitting that wall of bureaucracy. And I shared about how it was a broken system. And a friend of mine really got on my case about calling it broken, and we got in this huge rant, but it is. Hey, Walter Mellon, I love that. I will try to get out there. Uh, DJGILO Mar. Thank you so much for your kind words. CL4H, I was just talking to you, and I don't ignore anybody. This chat thing, in fact, I was just scrolling. I miss some people. I'm sorry. Sometimes I don't see all the conversations. I mean, there's 148 people, a bunch of you are chatting. I don't see it. And in fact, I just shared out about our support group, and CL4H. I actually I try not to ignore anybody ever. It's impossible to respond to everybody, but my heart and focus, work, priority is homeless people. So, no, I don't ignore homeless people. And if you were ignored, it was by accident. Um, hey, little bird, thank you. Cynthia Lee, I am so sorry about the bed bugs. Sometimes the Section 8 housing is so awful. Leah, I have you already started volunteering? Let me know how that goes. So the thing about volunteering is sometimes you go volunteer someplace and there's 20 of you with a broom in the kitchen and it's an awful experience. Go find another nonprofit if it did one that fits. Now, maybe the first time it's a charm. If not, don't give up. My point is, try out a few and see which one feels the best. Joshua asks, why did I start doing drugs? Probably a lot of different reasons. Um, you know, a bit of it was peer pressure. A bit of it was a way to escape the pain that I was in. I was, by any means, I didn't, have a traumatic childhood, but um, there was parts of my childhood that caused a lot of pain, and I was trying to forget. And there was a part of it that it gave me. Okay, so I'm coming out of school, 7th grade. I went to a junior high school, and my spider bike. Remember spider bikes? My spider bike's in parts up in the trees. and the seniors are just laughing at me. And I was powerless. And I started dealing drugs, and they're buying drugs off me, and I became the one with the power. So there was a bit of that. New Day, there is a heroin epidemic everywhere. It's not just in homeless camps, it's everywhere. Warrington, Manda has her own channel, her own video. Walter Mellon, I would love to if I happen to run into wherever CL4H is in that city. That'd be great. Nancy, thank you very much. Bliss, bliss, I agree. Lucky to be alive. CL4H, that is the second time you've asked that, and I've responded to you each time. Vicky almost. No, Vicky almost did I get turned off the church. So I have a different view of church and Christianity. I am not big on listening to some guy's impression of God, which is what you do Sunday morning. And if that's your thing, that's great. To me, I'll be honest. So used to be Christmas Eve, used to go to church, sing Silent Night, light candles. And it was a spiritual experience, and it was fluffy, and it was nice, and it was wonderful. And then I started working winter shelters. And I remember one night, being at the winter shelter, and I went to go use the restroom. And here's 150 men just sleeping on cots in an open armory. And it's Christmas Eve, and I raised the money, and we catered a meal, and everybody got gifts. There's videos on it online and stuff. It was wonderful. But then, when I was leaving the restroom, here's men that were taking a hot shower. And I remembered how important a hot shower was to me when I was homeless. And I was like, what a blessing this is. And then I was outreach case manager, family case manager, and I had to take care of homeless families on Christmas Eve. And I adopted the hotels, and I would bring them gifts and food and everything for the kids. And I remember this one year. So there was a mom that was riding the bus with her kid. It was a domestic violence situation, and we got called by the bus driver. And like the kid was just in diapers. The mom didn't know what to do. She just, she was getting the crap beat out of her. She got on a bus with her kid and just kept on riding. So we took her and got her in a hotel and everything. But, when you're working with homeless families, your heart's on the ground. You see these kids and your heart, oh my gosh, it's just, you're just torn apart. And I remember driving home that night. I blogged about it someplace. And I'm seeing people come out of the church on Christmas Eve, and they were singing Silent Night and doing the candle thing and everything, and that's great for them. And I realized that worshiping God, at least for me, is not this nice fluffy music, reading words on a screen, raising my hands. Worshiping God for me is extending myself for another human being. Worshiping God for me is helping somebody when I don't want to. And when that came about, so 211 in Los Angeles is a city like 15 million people. They got wind that I would answer my phone anytime at night. And because no kids sleeping outside on my watch. So even though I'm off the clock or whatever, I'd get these calls at midnight or and I would just get home from the shelter. I'd get into bed thinking I'm going to crash, and my phone would get up, and I would have to go, help a homeless family. And often I didn't want to, and I realized that's worshiping God. So that's my views. That's. Thank you, Victoria. Jamie, thank you very much for your kind words. Watermelon said I'm a half hour behind the chat. What happens is because like I get talking, and then when I go and I try to scroll, and then it like jumps, and then I'm like, oh gosh, where was I? I wish it like there was a timestamp, where then like I scroll up, like I just see Bliss asks about the office basement. I haven't even started this week. Oh my gosh. I mean, um, so much work to do, but I've got to because these these dolls gotta go. They've got to go. Mustang Tommy, thank you. Sandy says, yeah, I mean, it's if we as Christians or any faith base really looked at worship as serving, um, it'd be great. See a couple of you guys talking about trolls. I see also Addie's been working overtime. Usually we have one or two, but it seems like tonight has been a little more. Oh, doll trolls. Ah, I'm slow, but I'm worth waiting on. So, WF hockey player 10. Um, Not true. Uh, WF hockey player 10 just said the reason you can't get a job is you're lazy. So I'm going to say it again. Homelessness is not lazy. There's no days off. You have to work your guacamole off. You got to work extremely hard just to go to the bathroom, just to find food, just to find a safe place to eat. And there's no vacation time. There's no days off. There's no personal leave. There's no sick leave. You work every day, all day. You wouldn't be able to do it. So you call a homeless person lazy, I bet you wouldn't last homeless because it's so hard to work. Then you're talking about minimum wage jobs. It's interesting about minimum wage jobs. So I'm 57 years old. I have an executive background. And you know what? I can't get a minimum wage job. You know why? Because there's a lot of people applying for them, and they are not hiring homeless people. They're not. Where is a homeless person going to shower to go to work? Huh? And you show up stinky every day? You're going to give, dude, come on. Homeless people are not lazy. That's the truth. And nobody's hiring homeless people. That's the truth. Stop blaming homeless people. Lack of affordable housing is the leading cause of homelessness. There are people with minimum wage jobs, better than minimum wage jobs, living in a tent because they cannot afford an apartment. Sorry. Uh-oh, Joshua's asking about the dolls. Joshua, I am now living at my mom's. My mom has dolls around the house. Tonight, she actually said I could move them. It's mom's house. I'm here taking care of her. She's disabled. She's older. And I forgot. I really meant to tonight. So I moved in here. I'm trying to make a studio in the basement. It's just not up there yet. Vicky, thank you for your response. Hey, Charlie. So Charlie had a job and was living in a tent. Don't mess with the dolls, LT. You know what I should have done is, you know how YouTube, gives you 3 seconds to take that thumbnail. I should have held one of the dolls. I would love to come to New Hampshire. Hey Jeff, kudos back at yeah. THX 1138. Okay. Um, how many people know what THX 1138 is? Not you, THX 1138, because you actually know what it's your. How many people? So I failed when I said the pill colors wrong on the Matrix. So I lost my geek card, but I'm going to get my super geek card back on THX 1138. Hey, Dino, thank you. I am shot out and I fried my brain for 35 years. This last 23 years is just working to help end homelessness. Forgone, I think I might be aging too fast. Um, WF Hockey Player 10. You are giving your money. You're paying taxpayer money, huge money, huge money for every person out there panhandling, whether you give them money or not. Your taxpayer money is going to keep them out there. You know what? Housing homeless people, getting them into an apartment saves $20,000 per homeless person per year. You times that by the amount of homeless people, that's billions in dollars in savings every year. The problem is, and please, I don't mean to be singling you out. You just opened up this great conversation. Is you're blaming this on you're like, why should I give money to this homeless person that's sitting on their ass? You already are. What you need to be saying is, why am I giving taxpayer money to this person when we could house them and I could save money? The problem is you're blaming the person. You're saying, oh, they're just lazy sitting out there. Well, you know what? It's the government, it's all of us, it's the churches, the synagogues, the temples, all of our responsibility to end homelessness. And guess what? It saves your money. So if you want to ask why would you, you already are. You're paying huge money. Police, EMT, average homeless person goes to the emergency room 3 times a year. Who pays for that? You do. Hopefully that answers your question. Hey, Dino, I love you too, man. And I agree. Don't do drugs. And the reason I'm here is to take care of my mom because she's disabled. Yeah, CL4H, that's all right. I think that probably drives Addie a little crazy as moderator, but I'm open to. Well, I'm not just open. I encourage open conversation. So if somebody I believe it's. The, oh, let me put it this way. Back when I used to play music, I'd walk off the stage and I'd seek the person that was going to be honest with me. So many people, oh, wow, you're great, you're great. And I knew there was things that we could have improved. So I want people to be honest. Now, Dino talking about me being a 60-year-old person bitching about not getting a job at my mom's house doesn't know the full story. See you, Neo. Wow, Harry, I didn't know that about Steve Harvey. Hey, Commander Simstar, and I didn't thank you earlier. It doesn't when you guys do the super chat. It just it doesn't give your name, so I didn't. I remember your avatar. So thank you so much for your donation. And you're right. And thank you. Okay, what time? We're going to do 15 more minutes. That means, Charlie, thank you for stopping in. We're going to do 15 more minutes. That means we did a 2-hour chat. So, Mondo del Adi, good. Do you think it's possible to build an entire wood houses city just for homeless people? So here's the thing, everybody talks about the tiny homes or the shipping containers, or I've seen igloos. They're boxes. You just can't put people into boxes. You have to have services. You have to have community. So yeah, it's possible to build a bunch of boxes, but people need to thrive. And for them to thrive, you need services and you need community and you need other people. And hey, Sweeten LeBron, thank you so much. Hey, Michael, I'm in Binghamton, New York currently. So, Johnny Wad, illegal immigrants consuming resources. So, what resources? If there was no legal immigrants doing the migrant grape farmer, you would be paying $15 for a head of lettuce. Your Burger King Whopper would increase probably 300%. The immigrants are not doing consuming up resources. They're actually doing work that Americans don't want to. And here's a little known fact, and people crossing the Mexican border has been a decline since 2015. It's been declining. There's been less people crossing. So President Trump ran an election getting everybody all scared and let's build a wall. But the truth, there's, yeah. So again, it depends on who you ask. So our government says there's around 500, and our government as in HUD, Housing and Urban Development, there's about 550,000 homeless people on any given night. They count one night a year, January, the coldest month. And then uh, there's the Department of Education counts homeless children every single day, school day. So the Department of Education says there's 1.3 million homeless kids. That's a pretty huge discrepancy, That's pretty big. Um, I would say there's probably about 2 million because the Department of Education, that number of 1.3 doesn't include the parents and it doesn't include the younger siblings that haven't entered kindergarten. So I would say roughly about 2 million or more. Hey, Donna, I would love to come to Rochester. You're close. I spoke in Rochester not too well. It's about 3 years ago. That's a little bit long. Hey, Jean, thank you for asking about mom. She's in the other room, probably sleeping. Eric stuck on the doll. I totally forgot about Chucky. Melka, hi, how are you? Mom is doing. It's so awesome you guys remember and you ask about mom. My goodness. Oh, Harry, there's all kinds of dolls throughout this house. Roger Williams, what is a good example of affordable housing? So, one of the organizations that I really like, uh, that is probably the easiest, is Skid Row Housing Trust. They really like their Star Apartments, which is permanent supportive housing. They're really, they believe in dignity. The apartments were like these modular things so that you could put them together quickly and cost effective. They have, gardens and a trail and art programs and mental health and just really, really amazing. Skid Row Housing Trust, and there's a bunch of them. That's just one that I know that you could uh, Google and find out a lot about really quick. Uh, they're probably not a really good name because they only have a few apartment buildings in Skid Row. They're throughout Los Angeles. Oh, I'm behind on the chat. Oh, what I miss, Melka? What I miss? Yeah, Roger. No, that's a great question. That's a great question. Um, a lot of organizations are going in that direction, and that's a good thing. There's some that probably are more housing developers now than homeless services, but a lot of them do a lot of different things. Where I know Skid Row Housing Trust is one that they just do the affordable housing. Yes, I am caught up now. Maybe I'll do a little research to see if there's a better way of navigating this chat so I don't get so lost. And there's you can do top chat and that excludes some people. I don't want to do that. And then there's live chat, and it just goes so fast. So drive secure 24/7. Actually, there's more older people and more younger people entering homelessness right now. Hey, Sebastian 21. Sounds like you are what I would consider a nomad. You're living on your van, not really homeless. You're, uh, you know, uh, got a gig programming video games. That's awesome. I get jealous of the nomadic lifestyle. I wish I could do the van life, but at 57, I hit the bathroom every night a couple of times. I don't know if I could do living in a van. Lady T, thank you so much. Okay, Addie, you're mad at me. You didn't tell me about you coming here, Mark. Okay, I don't understand. So I have been. We're going to do this on a regular basis. I'll put up a schedule. Melka, the rapper girl. You know what? Adela, I probably should try to see if I can mix that with some music. I might try that to see if Melka, good idea. I'll find some beats and I'll see if I can. Uh, hey, vegan Johnny, thank you, and you know what? I encourage open communication. I'm glad you brought up the immigration thing. I don't, it's a tough conversation, I and there's no real easy answers. But what we got to do is talk about it as adults in a civil way. So, Addie, I will DM you why I don't talk about that publicly. And also, it may or may not happen. LMCD, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I not tonight, but I'll try to mix some beats behind what she's saying and see how it sounds. Okay, folks, we're down to 7 minutes. That means I've been on almost 2 hours. Amanda Kelly, you retracted your message? And why I noticed that is, Amanda, I looked at your channel last night and I know you're formerly homeless. And have you found our online support group for homeless people and formerly homeless? I hope so. CL4H, good night. Sandy says I do want I'm right now I'm taking care of mom. It limits my travel. I am going to be doing some traveling coming up, but I got to come back. Walter, you do not want me wrapping even Christmas gifts. You don't want me wrapping. Yeah, Amanda, and this is for only homeless people and formerly homeless. Amanda, go to wearevisible.com. It's a support group on Facebook, peer support group for homeless people and formerly homeless people. Warrington, have you heard from Amanda lately? I retweeted her earlier today. She has her own channel. I would ask her how she's doing. Victoria, I will. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's hard to imagine we've been on for an hour and 44 minutes. So, how many of you are new subscribers? Hit the subscribe button. Bits of my life, thank you very much. Them game cheats, no, I'm not rapping. Nope. And I'm not doing country music either, or rock, or anything. I played drums. I actually played drums for a living. And there was a reason, and that's because I can't sing. Oh my gosh, can you hear my throat is like, because I've been going. Oh my gosh, you're subscribing your parents to my YouTube channel. God bless you. I should do a campaign. Uh, then the game cheats when I do I'm going to set up my drums downstairs once I get that all done. I right now I'm up in my mom's. I'm still unpacking. Harry, if they start moving, then I'm gonna. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Melka, yep. I'm gonna try to do Sundays. Sunday seems like the one that works. Dolls and drums. Hey, that is a good band name. Wow, Victoria, awesome. So there is a page, Amanda, but this is a group. It's a private group. You have to ask a couple of questions about um, uh, to get in. And T King 67. Wow. Thank you so much. And oh my gosh, just the thought. I mean, I know a lot of you don't have money, and just sharing the content, subscribing, like Victoria's, sharing with her coworkers. That's amazing. Um, that it's the network here. We're making history together. Nonprofits normally don't have 36 million views, 800 and 185,000 subs, and here it is, a channel about homelessness. Madisur Sheriff, is it my personal? No. So in the United States, and I don't know if you're international or here. Yes, I founded it, but we have a board of directors. So I'm governed to have a 501c3 in the United States. You have to have uh, a board of directors who run it. And we are accountable. So it's not my nonprofit, but I am the founder. Oh, Victoria. Oh my gosh. I thought coworkers. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. So you're in the hospital or you're visiting the hospital? Amanda, just type in wearevisible.com. It will rewrite you right to the Facebook group. And it's only for homeless people or formerly homeless people. Whoa. Wow, Ren. Wow. Um, I don't know if you would, Ren, if you want to email me at mark@invisiblepeople.tv, we can discuss that. If you need somebody to teach you English, uh, hopefully we'll figure something out. There's some people in our support group, and I just probably not here is the best way to talk about it. So Mark, MARK, @invisiblepeople.tv. And we'll start a conversation and see how we can get you an English teacher. And that's really awesome. Something like that. So every now and then I get people that, have some interesting employment opportunities. But I'm assuming, Ren, that you're talking about doing this uh, remotely. And so if there's somebody on this side that is homeless and needs the money and responsible, and that they are able to have bandwidth so that you guys can work out a schedule and like Skype or Zoom or something, we'll figure it out, man. Mark @invisiblepeople.tv. And thank you so much for the donation. So Mondo Del ID, just do it. I mean, I know it sounds flip, but you just do it. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm still learning. I'm learning every day. And what I did 10 years ago is completely different than what I'm doing today. Another thing is go volunteer someplace. You can volunteer and you can learn and you can see group, ideas where you can maybe improve on something, uh, you know, and we got 8 minutes left. I'm going to go right to two. We're going to go 2 hours of Sunday with the dolls. Yes, I'm still sober, but I'm a little tired and I'm a little hoarse. Hey, Melissa, yeah, we have a Facebook page, and you know, um, Instagram is @invisiblepeople. Facebook is Invisible People TV. Somebody had Invisible People. Our Twitter is @Invisible People. The website is invisiblepeople.tv. Mine is @Hardly Normal. And the YouTube is youtube.com/invisible people. Addie, when I do the new website and the new branding, I'm going to try to do some merch. So Jason, I never have. It's not that it's not something that I'm against, but I've never had been asked or had an opportunity to go with Habitat for Humanity. I usually pick nonprofits that um, could use a little help. Habitat's got their stuff together. Bitch and Fishin'. I love the name. Wow, cool, Victoria. If so, we got 5 minutes. What kind of merch would you guys like? Shirts, hats, socks? Victoria, no, you can go to invisiblepeople.tv /donate. Uh, Also on Facebook, if you go to our Facebook page, Facebook doesn't keep anything, 100% passes through. T-shirts, hats, T-shirts, $1 hot dogs, hoodies, fanny packs. Chris, you would want an invisible people fanny pack? Interesting idea. Thank you. Hoodie. Hey, Harry. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, caps, backpack. I've had a vision. I don't know if you guys know. There's an organization that makes special backpacks just for homeless people. That's pretty awesome. I think they're called like City Packs or something. Um, I've wanted to make like the buy one get one free, because I have a backpack that the company doesn't even make them anymore, but it's really awesome. And I would, if I could, make them for college kids, so that they're cool but yet practical for homeless people. Buy a backpack for yourself and one goes to a homeless person. I think that would be really awesome. I love you. So the city packs, they are, from what I've seen, they're really big. A few homeless people, or a few outreach teams have given them out, but I haven't gotten the feedback yet from homeless people. Okay, we're coming down to 4 minutes. Any last words, ideas, suggestions, thoughts? I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you for a wonderful 2 hours. I'm going to try to do this uh, on a regular basis. I know I keep saying that, but I don't think we're going to be doing 2 hours. Gus, I'm hoarse. No, somebody just, what's the Frank Rizzo? What's the Everett homeless live stream? Hello from, there's a gentleman I interviewed in London from Romania. I would love to visit. From what I hear, my heart breaks for what's going on in Romania. I'm sure it's beautiful too. So, a Studebaker, I want to do that. I mean, my life is kind of crazy right now. I'm, taking care of my mom. I just moved. Once I get everything in, get the new invisible people up, I'm going to start making some more videos just like that. Hey, Park Stanley, I'm sorry if I didn't get your email. I get a lot of emails. Please send it again. I try to respond to everybody. Addie, thank you. Hannah, thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow. So, Frank, is the live stream done by the homeless people there? Because you bring up a good point. So, I even had Google Glass, and there's a lot of time, I'd love to strap a GoPro to me and go walking in a homeless camp, but I don't. I tried Google Glass for a while, and I do have one stream with Google Glass, um, where we did walk through a tent community and everybody gave permission. But what was happening is I'd be walking down the street and I would ask a homeless person, and they'd say no, and then I'd turn it off, and it just didn't work. So yeah, Amanda, city packs. I've seen Ryan, who's also in the support group. You've maybe seen some videos I've done of him in outreach. He gives them out, and they look great. It's just until I hear from, gosh, what was it? They were, I forget what they were called. They were a shopping cart and a tent combined. What were they called? God, I can't remember the name of them. Um, and they looked really cool. And I thought they were cool. They're a little bit expensive, but they were, a shopping cart you can move around, and then at night it converts into a tent. God, I can't remember the name of them. So I thought they were cool. And then I was talking about it at a homeless shelter once, and a homeless man said, "Have you ever slept in them?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "They're horrible. From the outside, they look cool. God, I can't remember what they were. Terry, no, I'm not. I am divorced with no goldfish." Oh, Frank, if you're on Twitter, send me a link at Hardly Normal or at my email, mark@invisiblepeople.tv, or can I find it online someplace? Little Bird, thank you. Harry, I actually tried to rip the Dateline this week. News organizations lock down the video. The best I'm going to be able to do is play it on a laptop and do a screen share. And then I wish, there was a way to rip the video so it was good quality. I wish they would put it up in a way that didn't force people to go to their apps. And it's not just NBC, all the news people do that. Park Stanley. Well, you know what? This happens a lot. This happened the other day where a lady said that there was a homeless person in an accident. And I'm going to end with this story. We're already at 2 minutes. There's a homeless person at an exit flying a sign, and she had one of those power bar things that are all protein. They taste like friggin' clay. Ever eat one of those? Yeah. And so the guy came up, and she wanted to give it to him, and he says, "No, I'd rather have money." Well, yeah, I'd rather have money. I mean, Park, have you ever at Christmas gotten a bad Christmas gift and wish you'd had money? And here's the thing, and I get this too. So I remember a woman saying, a homeless person, he asked for food, I gave him money, and I saw him walk out of the store with a beer. He lied to me. Enron, Bernie Mathis, the rich guy that ripped off all these people. Rich white people have lied to Americans far more than all the homeless people combined. And now get this, he's drinking a beer. He's going to the bathroom behind a McDonald's dumpster. Let him have a beer. And I'm not advocating for alcohol. I'm just trying to put it in perspective. The soccer mom's hitting a bottle. The lawyer's hitting a pipe. The postman's taking a couple of pills to get through the day. But a homeless person who's going to the bathroom and life is hell, we're upset that he's having a beer trying to forget about it, that they're using drugs to try to cope with the pain. And here's the thing about us. We want to give them half-eaten sandwiches. We go to Cheesecake Factory and we have leftover, and then we leave and we walk down the street until we see a homeless person to give them what was left over, what we didn't want. But because they're poor, they should just take what we're offering. So, you know what? If a homeless person, there's things that only money can buy. I had a homeless friend that he was in front of a CVS, as a drugstore. He had a sign, "I need a toothbrush." And people kept putting food at his feet. And even with 4 or 5 Happy Meals at his feet, I don't know if they're Happy Meals, but there are some kind of, number 3 from McDonald's and a number 4 from Burger King. Even with food at his feet, people kept on giving him more food, and nobody gave him money for the toothbrush. And I hope, I'm getting excited. I hope the audio wasn't distorting there, you know. And my point is, you know what? And I got to be honest, I don't always give money, but there's sometimes that I open my wallet. There's things that only tampons, cold medicine, there's things that only money can buy. And you know what? The people that gave me money and I went and bought drugs, they saved my life, because if I didn't, when I was homeless, I needed drugs like I needed air. And if I didn't have drugs, I would have gotten dope sick. And if I got dope sick, I'd been vulnerable. And if I'm vulnerable, I'm mugged. Okay? I don't make it through the night. So those people that gave me money saved my life. Even the Pope says. So I have a blog post. It's on Medium. Go to Medium. It's okay. I think it's giving money to homeless people is okay. It's a great blog post. Even the Pope even wrote about it. The Pope says, give without worry, how it translates. If you feel like giving money to homeless people, give money. If you don't feel like giving money, don't. It's that simple. But I don't think we can judge them and say, oh my gosh, they don't want these sandwiches. They don't want what we're offering them. They're poor people. They should just take whatever we're giving. True homelessness is absence of choice. You don't have a choice for when you eat, when you do a shower, it's hell. So if you want to escape with a little bit of something to get through the day, God bless you. Sorry. Didn't mean to rant. Bree, that is awesome. Phones are, and it's the bandwidth. Sandy says that's a good one too. Okay, folks, I am Morris is like you could yeah, I can't remember what the okay, folks, I gotta sign off. We're over 2 hours. Subscribe, please. Share the content. Love y'all. I'm going to try to be back around next Sunday. We're going to try to do Sunday nights. Maybe we'll do some during the day. I don't know if you remember last week I tried a daytime. Harry liked it, but Harry's also here tonight. So, hey, always smile. I like your name. Thank you. Changed my perception. Hey, Bree. Thank you. Thank you, guys. You are awesome. I am going to, and Lady T, thank you. Thank you. You guys have a really, really good night. Wherever you are, might be even morning, and have a marvelous, marvelous week. Love y'all. Bye.